In this video, I'm going to be showcasing and going through the Metriq submission flow. Let's say that as a user of Metriq, I have an article that I'd like to submit to the Metriq platform because I think it would make a great contribution to the dataset that exists on Metriq. Let's say that the particular article in question, for the sake of example, is this archive posting here. In order to submit this to Metriq, what I need to do is to be a user and to be logged in, and also ensure that this particular article is not already submitted and present on Metriq. So one thing I can do to make sure that this is not already present on Metriq is use this search bar here. If I type in the title of this particular paper, I'll note that the submission does not pop up, and therefore that the submission in question is not already present. So I know that it's not on the platform already. Also, I need to be a user. I'll go ahead and log out, but if I click on this login button, which if you're not already a user of Metriq, you'll be presented with this page here. Assuming you're not a user and want to become one, you can click on this create new account link and it will take you to an account creation page, which you can follow the instructions to create a new account. If you're already a user of Metriq, you can go ahead and log in. Once you're logged in, you can go ahead and click the submit button in the top right corner of the page. Doing so will take you to the submission view. In order to submit something like an article, I need to step through and fill in these boxes. And let's step through that together for this particular posting. We'll start by putting in the content URL. This is just the URL for which the submission in question is hosted. This could be a journal link, could be a GitHub URL. In this case, it's just the link here, which is the archive posting. I'll go ahead and copy this and put it into the content URL right here. Notice that when I do that, it auto-populates both the submission name and the description from the archive posting directly. So the title of the paper is put into the submission name automatically, as the description is also put into the description box that's just the abstract of this particular work. This auto-population feature works not just with archive postings, but also with journal articles from providers such as Nature, Physical Review, etc. We can also put in an image URL as well. This is optional, and this usually pertains to an image that might be representative of the submission in question. This could be a plot or an image that's used within the paper. If we don't put anything here, this will just default to the Metriq logo, and in this case, I'm just going to leave it blank. Next, we need to fill in both the tasks, methods, platforms, and tags boxes. The tags are just comma-separated descriptive items that are representative of the work. If I open up this paper here, and actually click on this PDF link, I can go through the paper to get a sense of what some appropriate tags might be. For instance, this paper pertains to the study of quantum volume, and it makes use of a given technique known as Z&E for zero noise extrapolation. I think these are good tags to include for this particular work. Going back to the submission view, I'll go ahead and write in quantum volume down in the tag section, and you'll notice that it auto-populates as I start typing. So this is a look-ahead box that saves me from having to type the full name. Once I see the appropriate tag in question, I can just click on it, click on add, and this will add the appropriate tag in question. The other tag that I thought was appropriate was zero noise extrapolation, which I also see here as well. Note that we prefer the full name, zero noise extrapolation in this case, as opposed to the abbreviation Z&E, and this is mostly just due to the fact that it reduces ambiguity and is a little bit more clear and consistent. I'll go ahead and click on this and click on add. Gone ahead and added our tags. We can go ahead and start adding tasks, methods, and platforms and results that will be relevant to the work that we're submitting. For the sake of example, I'm going to leave these things blank here on this page. And the reason for doing this is it will allow us to showcase how one can add tasks retroactively even after a submission has been put through. The nice thing about this is if a user is going through the submission flow and neglects to put in a relevant task or method on this page, they can always go back and add it later. Likewise, other users of Metriq who want to enhance existing submissions on the page can also go through and add these things retroactively as well to enhance the data quality for a given submission. So on this page, I'll go ahead and hit submit, which will generate the following page that looks like this. We can see that this page here has the title that we have that we're submitting, the Metriq logo, which is the default one because we didn't provide any specific image, and then also the abstract. Note that we have tasks, methods, platforms, results, which are all empty. However, the tags box here does have our tags that we put in. So we have quantum volume and zero noise extrapolation, which we see there. So let's go through the process of adding the relevant tasks, methods, platforms, and possibly results for this particular work. So a task, as we can see here, are essentially the goal of a given benchmark or an application. In the case of this particular work here, the most appropriate thing that comes to mind is the setting of error mitigation and error correction. This is what we can put here for the relevant task. In order to add a task, we can click on this edit drop-down, click on the add button, and we'll be presented with the following add task modal. what we can do is we can see if this is already present in the task listing. So what I'll do is I'll start typing error correction, and indeed we see error correction and error mitigation pop up here. As this is already something in the task list, I'll go ahead and click on it to auto-populate and then hit submit to make it populate under the tasks box here. Note that if I added something in error, what I could also do is I can click on this edit drop down and remove, and the trash can icon next to the task that I wish to remove. This I'm not going to do, but for the sake of example, that's what you could do. So I hit done as I don't actually want to remove anything. Note that if I saw a task and I wanted to add one that wasn't already present in the listing, what I could do is click on edit, add, and also this create new task section, which will expand this area here of the modal, and I can go ahead and add any new task that isn't present in the listing and then submit it to the task list. I'll close this out for now. The next step, what we can do is add methods. Methods are techniques, protocols, procedures, etc. And for the paper that we're looking at here, the most appropriate method that was used is the method of Z&E, or zero noise extrapolation. And this is something that we already listed in the tags. I'll go back to this page here and hit on edit, add. It's got a very similar submission flow as tasks do, which is very consistent with everything else. And I'll go ahead and see if Z&E is present. It does seem like Z&E is present, so I'll go ahead and click on it and hit on submit. And again, if the method wasn't present, you can go ahead and add a new one as well. The final step is that we can add platforms, and these platforms can refer to real or simulated hardware and software environments that were used within the context of the work. Going back to this paper, we can see that these plots here, which pertain to the experimental results of the work, made use of the IBM machines, Belém, Lima, and Quito. These seem like the appropriate machines to include under the platforms heading. Going back to the submission view, we can hit on edit, add, and then search for any IBM Q machines that might be already in this listing. We can see that there's quite a few, and we can select the appropriate IBM Q machines and then put them underneath the platform heading. I hope this tutorial was useful for you. If you have any questions about Metriq, please feel free to reach out on the Discord channel, which is linked here, where you can ask specific questions to developers or other members of the community. Likewise, if you have a feature request or want to see some of the source code for Metriq, you can click on this GitHub link here for all of that, and it will take you to the GitHub URL where you can create feature requests or reach out to the developers. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and thanks again for watching.